Welcome to The Christian Atheist, Episode 16, on Ethics, Part 3. Ethics is concerned with addressing the question, how should I act? To address this question, then, it is important for us to understand what it means to act. Once again, I turn our attention to human rationality to address the nature of human action. We have made the case in the last few editions of The Christian Atheist that human beings stand outside nature in a certain fashion. And I would like to suggest here that there is a radical distinction to be made between natural reaction and human action, and that this too is a function of human rationality. Reaction is that which occurs according to natural laws and is, thus, predictable. It is this very predictability that enables human beings and animals to live effectively in the world. Water freezes and boils at predictable temperatures. Animal behavior, though more complex, is still essentially predictable, as it is governed by instinct. For the most part, two different animals of the same type will react in a predictable way given the same conditions. This is the nature of reaction. It is automatic, predictable, law-driven, and is, in many ways, exactly what we mean by the term natural. Science seeks to discover, articulate, and define these predictable patterns. Action, though, is quite different. A non-human animal, indeed nature itself, does not act, but only reacts. Action, then, is a human term. How can we understand the difference between action and reaction? First, we should note that while animals do not act, humans do react. That is, we share the fundamental natural reactivity of the animal kingdom. When we touch a hot object, we involuntarily jerk our hand away. When frightened, our heartbeats surge, and adrenaline floods our system, without our thought or choice. The psychological notion of fight or flight is not something we choose to engage, but comes to us naturally, instinctively. We share, that is, the natural reactivity of the animal kingdom. Reaction is best conceptualized as a chain of cause and effect, a mechanistic line of life that is determined by the circumstances to which an animal is exposed. Action, though, violates this deterministic chain of cause and effect, in effect stepping outside the natural world, giving rise to the term artificial. Why is it that we call a beaver's dam natural, but the Empire State Building artificial? Why is sugar a natural sweetener, but aspartame is artificial? There's nothing in the material composition of either of these examples that does not come from nature. The difference, therefore, is not material, but in the action that human beings take upon the natural world. Our linguistic practice teaches us that human activity differs from the natural, causal, deterministic world around us. Exactly how it violates the natural world is our topic this week. Once again, we find that human rationality is the origin of the difference. If the natural stream of experience for animals is mechanistic, a chain of cause and effect to which animals react, then action steps outside the chain of cause and effect. This is another way of saying that human beings are free, not determined. The causal chain must be broken in order for this to be true. Cause must be effectively separated from its effect. We've already discussed the means by which this is accomplished within the structure of rationality. The first step is the refusal to simply accept what is here and now. To reject, that is, the givens of the present situation we face. Turning our attention back to the problem of being thirsty in front of a puddle of dirty water, we problematize the present, saying, yuck, that water is dirty. In effect, we reject our natural instinct to drink, to solve our thirst. In addition to being critical, we are here also seeing our self as rejecting, again being critical, the ingestion of dirty water. We are, then, in reflection, aware of ourself as an object in the world. While the dog is just his thirst in the presence of water, we view ourself as a thing separate from our thirst, our impulse to drink, separate from our presence to water, as an object among other objects. Because we are reflective, self-conscious, we can be concerned for our objective well-being, allowing us to question, to problematize the present, reject it with our capacity to be critical. But all of this is still lacking the fundamental aspect of motivation, tendentiousness. We reject the present, question it, in order to resolve a problem, answer a question, in a way that is not given to us in our present, the here and the now. In effect, human rationality, by effectively combining our ability to be critical, reflective, and tendentious, creates for us a bubble of possibility, a future projection populated by the structured negation of the present problem as a solution. I do not drink the dirty water because I find it yucky to do so, and I present a future self, project a possible self whose thirst problem is resolved in another way. This bubble of possibility allows us to separate the present cause from its future effect by allowing another unique function of human rationality, imagination, to craft future solutions. It is choice that breaks the causal chain, separating present cause from future effect by evaluating and deciding between possibles which one to realize. Animals don't choose which effect follows the cause because there are no possible effects to reaction, only determined effects. If there is no choice, there is no break in the causal chain of nature. Human action thus allows us to step outside the causal chain, initiating through a choice of possibles a new causal chain. Thus, cause and effect with human beings becomes mediated by rationality into a free choice, a brand new configuration of the natural order, giving rise to the unnatural, the supranatural, the artificial. We see then that to act, in opposition to mere reaction, requires the structure of rationality that are characteristic of human beings. Action stands outside nature's immediate causal chain. We should note that while we call human action free, this does not mean that it is unconditioned or unconstrained. First, possibility is motivated by real causal factors, which provide a framework within which we can conceptualize future possibles. When I experience, for example, my thirst at the dirty puddle in the middle of my neighborhood, it is my present thirst in this neighborhood that motivates my tendentious search for a resolution. I am constrained by time, location, money, presence to transportation, etc. Next, there are the constraints of real possibility. Human imagination is free to construct possibles that cannot be realized. We cannot, for instance, change the past in order to alter the future, though we can imagine doing so as a possibility. And we can even choose an impossible future. We just can't realize it. That human beings are ethical is predicated on our ability to act in the world. Action is, though, not just a choice of a future from a field of possibles, but also the process of realization, a willing of the means to achieve the chosen end, and of the concrete motive forces to apply those means to achieve that end. This is the project. We throw our self forward into the future and work to make that future self real in our ongoing present. Thus, we see rationality as the profound basis of the difference between animals and human beings, and understand how human beings can be ethical creatures. Choosing from a field of possibles means we evaluate them, deciding which is the best or the right course of action. And because we have a self, we can also be accountable for those choices. See ourselves and others as the foundation of causal chains, as responsible agents. Choosing to act, then, as rational agents means that reason commands us. Since it is our reason that opens up the possibles, evaluates them, and allows of choice of what we should do. Rationality, by evaluating possibles and choosing, prescribes what follows from our choice, like a logical chain, to arrive at the chosen end. Reason thus both makes possible and commands our action. Immanuel Kant divided this notion of action into two separate imperatives, or demands made on us by reason. One, a hypothetical imperative, and two, a categorical imperative. A hypothetical imperative is when reason determines what should be done if you want to achieve a particular result. This is represented by the example of dirty water above. If I want to quench my thirst with a drink that is not dirty, then I should, for instance, buy a slushie at the corner store. The answer to this hypothetical imperative depends upon which choice I make, and the options offered by reason can be varied and, in some sense, indifferent as to what is chosen. If I want to quench my thirst by going home, then reason dictates a different action, a different direction. In some sense, reason is indifferent to which choice is made in a hypothetical imperative. It simply directs what course of action to pursue in order to achieve the end that we choose. The categorical imperative, however, is a moral imperative, an ought. Reason is not indifferent as to the choice of end in a categorical imperative. Instead, it dictates what must be done, even though it cannot dictate what will be chosen. It is here that we will pick up this discussion next week. If this is the first edition of The Christian Atheist you've watched, please subscribe below so that you won't miss upcoming episodes, and so that you can view our previous episodes on this YouTube page. First, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And let us know what you'd like to hear from us by commenting. Wise Words for Your Occasion is located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but we're willing to travel. For inquiries or to book an occasion, go to wisewordsforyouroccasion.wordpress.com or see us on Facebook or check out our YouTube channel. You'll find links to all three in this post.